Hey, what is up ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tiano here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Klonoa, in this case Klonoa, Moonlight Museum from Bandai Want This One. So last time we have managed to able to accomplish the entirety of World 1, and we managed to able to complete 6 levels in one video. Despite the fact that most of these levels are pretty short in the beginning, but eventually it gets a little bit longer as you progress. So either way though, yeah, today for this particular episode is the fact that we're about to begin World 2, which according to the forms of that particular world's name, even though despite the fact that I said this countless amount of times, this is still pretty much in Japanese for the sake of time. And because of that though, I have no idea what the actual text is all about. So either way though, and for what I can gather is the fact that it obviously might take place in a forest environment, but then again, it has been a couple of days since I actually did manage to play this game, although since about 2 days ago, because again, I need to get a little bit more time until whenever I get used to with the mechanics of this game. So, apparently World 2, as far as you might as well notice for that translation, is that World 2, that the environment we're going to be going on to is Giant Fortress. And because of that though, oh man, this music looks weird. Especially because, well, obviously this is on the Bandai Want This One, so because of that though, I'm pretty sure it has like mono sounds or something like that, or mono speakers I'm presuming, but enough about that. Because of that though, yeah, we're just about to be going on to World 2, so... But then again, if we come across into most of the levels that contains a, the vertical precision screen resolution, then I can quickly decide to able to actually shift it over with the actual recording setup. So, but again, the actual emphasis on the Bandai Want This One recording segments is actually new to me. So, if we're about to be doing a, let's just say another Bandai Want This One game at some point in the future, specifically, let's just say, for example, there is actually a Mega Man and Bass game on the Bandai Want This One, believe it or not. And because of that though, that game does exist, and much like the forms of the original Mega Man and Bass game for the Super Famicom, it only sort of light of day in Japan. So because of that though, that Bandai Want This One was only exclusive to Japan's marketing standpoint. So, but you get the idea for that little things to talk about for the sake of time. So yeah. By the way, you notice that that particular cube object that we're going to be able to actually keep using on it? Well, we need to do that a lot because eventually some of these puzzle segments might actually get a little bit more harder this time around compared to the original game. Because, obviously if you couldn't tell, is the fact that I'm pretty sure this game does not have any boss fights at all. Which is pretty weird if you ask me, because even then I'm still used to with, the original Klonoa, in this case Klonoa Daughter Phantomile, that basically that game does have boss fights, and similarly as in the Nintendo Wii remake. But apart from those side things though, is the fact that they had to exist because of how the fact that, well, for some sort of a challenge. But, either way, whenever we get on to, Klonoa Empire of Dreams, as well as Dream Champ Tournament, and even especially noticeable with, Lunati's Veil, then we can probably come across into boss fights at some point in the future. So because of that though, there's gonna be a lot to work with. So because of that though, and yeah, I just got hit right there, so that's kind of, well, iffy at points, even though as you can tell about the fact that we did manage to able to start this level up, some sort of like a weird start by able to simply get hit by an enemy from the get-go, which again has been a while since I actually did manage to play some Klonoa stuff, because, I'm pretty used to playing Sonic, Mario, and anything else like that. And even especially noticeable that one thing I should probably mention about this right from the start though, is the fact that recently, that for those of you fans already know what I'm talking about, even after almost an entire year since we've last heard about something new, well, from Nintendo itself, from first-party developers or something like that for that matter, at least generally speaking, ever since about 2 months ago that we actually regard ourselves, or generally speaking about almost 4 months ago that we actually got an announcement for the brand new Paper Mario game, which appears to be by the films of Paper Mario the Origami King, as you know. However though, for the sake of clarity, is the fact that since about after 2 months, the game eventually came out. But it wasn't until likely almost 2 months later, which in this case in September the 3rd, which is recently yesterday, and because obviously today's day, it is the 4th of September today, in this case in 2020, so in this case a 1-year anniversary of a last full Nintendo Direct back in September the 4th in specifically last year in 2019. But enough about that. But there's a good news actually for those of you the long-time Mario fan, including myself included. Recently, that the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Direct has recently announced yesterday, and it does have its Direct, which I was really happy about it. Especially noticeable, it's been a very, very long time since we actually heard about this. And because of that though, I am very, very happy that was a thing. And yeah, let's get into the actual list to see how the fact that, well, they obviously did manage to discuss upon new infos in terms of not only for the sake of the forms of a long rumored thing the leakers kept talk about ever since during the forms of the very beginning of 2020, which I'll get into more on that later. But for now, yeah, let's talk about the forms of those announcements they obviously brings us into. But of course, first off is the fact that much like in Nintendo Direct Mini, as well as, you know, the partner showcases. Yeah, the stupid partner showcases, that son of a... Sorry, it's just, I just can't stand that Direct because it just feels incredibly bare bones, and especially noticeable how it felt a little bit too laggy. Although the only good things about it though, in my honest opinion, is the fact that we got ourselves a Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory release date, which is now the 13th of November, as you guys should know. And also, same applies to the Cadence of Hyrule game, now finally got its physical form, and also it might actually include every single DLC content from the get-go, so that way I can able to try that game out. But, you know, just for the sake of the forms of the Zelda fanatic, like I still am even to this day. So, but either way though, enough about that. But, yeah, let's talk about the good, above-mentioned good Nintendo Direct, which appears to be the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary. Of course, they still mention about the forms of the pandemic coronavirus kind of thing, which is pretty obvious for the sake of this godforsaken year. But, apart from those side of things, though, is the fact that, well, we got into the forms of that particular good start in terms of, you know, the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary, as you guys should know. And, yeah, let's talk about the forms of those specific announcements they actually got. First of all, to kick things off, is the fact that the first thing they actually did revealed, it appears to be by the forms of the Super Mario Bros. Game. Yeah, it's pretty, obvious, isn't it? But, usually, relatively speaking, they actually get ourselves a Game & Watch handheld version of Super Mario Bros. In this case, the 35th anniversary version. Because the reason why I say that, because there's another version in there. However, though, it's more accurately almost like an LCD kind of stuff. But either way, though, and plus the lack of color, which thankfully, in the forms of that particular Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch and handheld device now finally managed to contain not only the original game, but also the lost levels as well. In this case, the much more of a difficult version of the most difficult Mario games ever made. And I do apologize for that particular belching side of things though, folks, just because, then again, it has been a while since I actually did done a lot of, you know, commentary stuff as per usual, so... Oh yeah, these flippers kind of reminds me of something related to a Yoshi game almost, except the fact that, well, obviously that Yoshi's Island did manage to came out first, so because of that though, yeah, I just want to classify that. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of emphasis on backtracking, by the way, for those of you probably wondering about the fact that you know, still I'm going to be able to try to aim for 100% completion for the sake of this game. Plus, I don't know if of how long this game will manage to able to took. But then again, we'll have to wait and see what happens during the majority of this month, which is of course September. So either way though, because of that though, we'll have to find out and see what happens when that time is right. So, Oh yeah, now we actually introducing to ourselves these little air currents. Normally in the original Klonoa game, in this case, Klonoa Daughter Phantom Isle, that you would able to actually move your direction when you're able to actually come into that particular wind current. However, though, that's not the case this time around for the sake of this game. In order to be able to move while the wind current is still blowing upwards, well, we need to use that particular block in order to able to actually just to not get a little bit locked up or anything like that. So yeah, that's how it goes basically. Now it's time to switch over to the different screen perspective now, because, you know, for Vision 2, 3, it's basically a vertical stage. So, because, you know, you're going to be seeing that a lot for the sake of the forms of not only some of my thumbnails, but it's also the fact that we're going to have to keep on doing that a lot for the majority of this game. I understand because of the unique selling point in terms of, you know, the Bandai WonderSwan itself, because obviously certain stuff we're able to actually get ourselves a different kind of view, but usually that's how it goes basically. So, anyway, and as far as the actual the Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch 2020 edition, and because that particular Game & Watch, that thing I was talking about earlier, now it finally has not only the forms of Super Mario Bros. The original, as well as the Japanese release of Super Mario Bros. 2, aka The Lost Levels, if you those who lived in English countries. In addition to that, we now have a full color on the Game & Watch console of all things, which is, well, very surprising, and it's also exciting at the same time, because even though despite I've already owned a lot of copies of Super Mario Bros., most notably on the Wii Virtual Console re-release, as well as, you know, Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, as in the forms of a remake on the Game Boy Color, and also same applies for, I did manage to got that with the NES Classic Mini, just because, why the heck not? And also Super Mario All-Stars on the Super Nintendo and stuff like that. Speaking of such though, actually I'll get to more on that later, because for now, oh, what else is on there? Well, I've simply managed to already got Super Mario Bros. I think technically if you really want to count Super Luigi Brothers as in a part of the NES Remakes 2, as in the forms of that particular, you know, that extra mode of any sorts, which part of the celebration of the Luigi's 30th anniversary of himself back in 2013/14. But, you know, you probably get the idea. So, anywho, so that's pretty cool. And also they did manage to contain a built-in clock, which not only does it contain, you know, the clock built-in feature, but also we might able to get some cool surprises during the forms of the 35th anniversary of the original Super Mario Bros. Game. Although, despite the fact that we've already got ourselves about, let's just say 9 days for now, or 8 in Japan. So because of that though, you might probably get the idea for that little topic worth noting for. But anyway, and also about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that we're actually getting ourselves the release date for it, and it's gonna be releasing until the 13th of November, in this case in 2020. And I think, fundamentally speaking, is the fact that that particular Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. Handheld thing, it will be releasing in the exact same day as in Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, if I recall correctly, from, let's just say, the PlayStation 4 and, of course, the Nintendo Switch version. So, yeah, I think I can probably guess by that point. So yeah, it's interesting. But there's one little gripe I have with that, even though that it might seems a little bit common for those of you people might actually understand that, is the fact that unfortunately it's going to be a limited run. So because of that though, thankfully it does manage to tell us of when the actual thing is about to be able to last stock in between. Likely is the fact that it might actually run out of stock until specifically, or stop selling these kind of stuff, until likely next year in March, because, well, obviously they just managed to able to actually bring in certain stuff. Well, it's hard to explain about it sometimes, but even then, I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to turn out. Even then, I might give it a try, and even trying to purchase it at the same time, but I'm not exactly ready for that yet, though, because, well, you know, there are some other plans that I would like to able to purchase in the future. Such as, for instance, actually, I'll get to more on that later, because, well, for now, let's move on to, well, Vision 2-4, as you can see, and we're now going back into horizontal position, so not much else going for here. Alright, speaking of which, actually, it's the fact that recently today, that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2 on the PlayStation 4/Xbox One, remastered version of those two really brilliant, iconic games of all time in the past, has recently came out recently today. And speaking of such, actually, it's the fact that the actual reviews of the actual two compilation Tony Hawk games, as far as I'm aware, oh man, it is so good. Especially the reviews themselves is actually getting like super better and better, because unlike that atrocious Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5, they did get themselves a really negative reviews for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 because it feels incredibly glitchy and buggy, especially noticeable because of how the fact that this was a 2015 game back in the day, and because of that though, yeah, I think most people always might still come across into a lot of game-breaking glitches or anything like that, so yeah, probably not gonna pick up Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 because that game sucks. But I still prefer, you know, the amazing 4 of those games, basically, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, and 4, just because those are the ones are superior, so. But I'm pretty sure most of you probably already know what I'm talking about here, so. Anyway, let's get back on topic in terms of the Super Mario Bros. 35th anniversary kind of direct. And next thing they actually did reveal is that yes, we finally got ourselves another Wii U port, which appears to be by the forms of, well, usually relatively speaking actually, I think what I meant to say is that we actually got ourselves another Nintendo Switch port based off from the Wii U title that everyone is waiting for the longest amount of time. That's what appears to be Super Mario 3D World. Yes, about time. But here's the thing though, is the fact that in addition to able to bringing back, you know, Super Mario 3D World, but this time for the Nintendo Switch, there's a good thing too, that we did manage to recently recompleted that game, despite the fact that we've lost our data on our Nintendo Wii U console back in 2018, despite the fact that we need to restart everything in that game, sadly. But we did catch up, and it's a perfect opportunity now, because since we did manage to complete that Nintendo Wii U version now, and because of that, I'm actually really looking forward to playing that game again, but this time on the go, and also for the Nintendo Switch at the same time. So, in addition to that, we also get ourselves a very cool new feature, or in this case a brand new thing that is introduced in Super Mario 3D World. Although usually most people seem to now call it Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, whilst in Japan it calls it Super Mario 3D World plus Fury World, which, again, because of how the fact that it makes a little bit, I don't know, some sort of a regional difference, I suppose. But even then, I'm really looking forward to see how that's going to turn out. Even though, much like the forms of New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe back in, let's just say in Nintendo Direct back in, oh, of course, I'm going to have to keep on changing that screen resolution. Okay, there we go. And anyway, as I was saying, about the fact of the matter is, though, is that, yes, much like New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, that you remember the forms of, back in 2018, during the forms of the 13th of September Direct on 2018, yeah, they obviously did reveal New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe after all. However, the release date on that game is going to be on next year. Well, it appears to be in 2019, as it turns out. I'm pretty sure it might do the same thing for Super Mario 3D World I'm pursuing for this matter, or in this case, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. And I think that particular game is about to come out and during at some point next year, in February of all things, which even then though seems a little bit weird for able to actually go for that decision of choice for that particular date. But hey, at least on the upside though is the fact that I'm really looking forward to that particular thing. So but either way though, that's all I could really just try to able to think about this for the sake of clarity right here, so. But you know, you get the idea for that little solutions to think of, so. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning though is the fact that, usually relatively speaking, is the fact that according to several other researchers or resources as far as I'm aware, that, in addition to, there's my first death right there, because if you're probably wondering why, when I'm still stuck in this particular room, that's only because I was gonna go after those 3 crystals, as you can see right there, but I need to find a way to able to actually go for that stuff, but even then, I'm just a little bit too puzzled, and also this is, again, my first time experiencing this game, unlike, you know, Klonoa Daughter Phantomile that I always played a lot, even on the PlayStation 1, or, you know, Nintendo Wii remake, whatever you want it to be more precise with, so but either way they'll just gonna have to leave it. We'll come back for it at some point, because obviously we don't have time to waste trying to waste too much time on. And I think that was a bad idea because, well, obviously we can't jump higher enough for that specific ledge over there. But on the other hand, luckily though, much like the original Klonoa, in this case Klonoa Daughter Phantomile, if you somehow messed it up with that particular puzzle segment, thankfully the actual puzzle segments will respawn if you actually mess things up completely, so... But as far as I'm guessing this correctly, it's the fact that this game is going to be a lot of emphasis on puzzle-based elements, rather than just involved around... I can definitely see why that there aren't any boss fights in this game this time around, compared to, Klonoa Daughter Phantomile, as well as the future games throughout, which, again, is most likely because of the limitations of the handheld, or maybe, yeah, I think it's probably because of the handheld's limitations or something, so... But you know... See, as far as I've noticed something is the fact that whenever I looked upon that particular YouTube video, that they did manage to point things out about the fact that between the Wii U version slash the Switch version, in between, well, let's just say Super Mario 3D World as the actual game itself, I realized about something is the fact that the actual character movements, well, compared to the Wii U version, that every single character moves a lot slower, I think on the Switch version, as far as I'm guessing this correctly, they did somehow manage to improve the speed a lot more, which... And also the visuals do look a little bit nicer too, even in comparison to the forms of the Wii U version, despite it was a port. But even then though, I'm still really looking forward to able to replay through Super Mario 3D World again, except this time playing it on the go, and plus, in addition to that, with a brand new mode, which appears to be, of course, you know, Bowser's Fury, in this case in Japan, Fury World. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to able to actually gain that version again, or getting that game again on the Nintendo Switch until next year. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. In fact, we might able to do a Let's Play of, well, we've already done the Let's Play of Super Mario 3D World since in 2017, due to the celebration of the Super Mario Odyssey game, but we can able to do a Bowser's Fury portion of that particular Let's Play instead, because, you know, we're just like to able to show off something different, similar to the likes of how it does it in, well, for Sonic Mania, in this case Sonic Mania Plus. In fact, we still need to able to get our plans to able to get onto Encore mode in Sonic Mania Plus, as in the forms of that particular Let's Play as forms are concerned. But even then, we'll have to wait and see what happens until, let's just say, until next year, until when we get into the celebration for Sonic's 30th anniversary next year. I think that could be summarized as such. What's the next thing they actually did revealed for the Super Mario Bros. 35th Anniversary Direct? Oh yeah, another cool thing that's been added, which appears to be buddy forms of Super Mario Bros. 35. If you remember playing Tetris 99 for the Nintendo Switch Online service, well, basically we have ourselves a second Nintendo Switch Online exclusive title, which appears to be buddy forms of, well, what else? Super Mario Bros. 35, and as far as I'm aware, it plays very similar to the likes of Tetris 99, except rather than playing Tetris, instead we are playing Super Mario Bros. Because, you know, just trying to able to celebrate the most iconic video games of all time. At least to be more specifically, the most definitive video game character, which is of course Mario himself. And it basically, you know, he's gonna have to compete against with players online, except rather than playing as, play against with 99 people, or in this case 98, if you manage to able to try to compete it for yourself. But also, well, usually relatively speaking, you now need to compete against with 34 people, well, including yourself, if you're trying to able to own a game. So yeah, it's really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to able to try that out. Even though, unfortunately though, much like the forms of how it does it on the Game & Watch Super Mario Bros. Handheld console, it's also going to be a limited time only. So because of that though, thankfully, I think it was for free, if I'm not mistaken this correctly. But apart from those exciting things though, I am definitely going to get that. And I think it also has a release date for that too, which appears to be about to due out at some point on next month, which appears to be the 1st of October. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying that out, and hopefully just trying to able to compete against with most of the people online. So because of that though, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that stuff, even though despite my Nintendo Switch Online membership service is almost gonna run out until specifically next April, until likely spring 2021. So at least I still got enough time to play it. So anyway, and another thing they actually did revealed in terms of, you know, Super Mario's 35th anniversary kind of direct, and that's what appears to be some sort of a weird game, which appears to be, of course, we have a Mario Kart game because, well, what do we expect? The Mario Kart series always becomes popular. And, speaking of that, actually, is the fact that, well, obviously they did something a little bit different this time around when it comes to a new Mario Kart game. I will classify it for saying as a spin-off title or something, much like Mario Kart Tour on the mobile devices. But speaking of that, actually I'll get into more about it until whenever we get into any moment's notice. But basically, it's the fact that they actually revealed Mario Kart Live home circuit for the Nintendo Switch. Why? I have no idea what that game is about. But what I do know is the fact that basically it's more accurately, let's just say, a Mario Kart construction kind of vibe or something. Even though you're able to actually have a choice between either Mario or Luigi as a playable characters, by the way. Because if you somehow manage to either purchase Mario or Luigi, then you would be able to race. But there's a cool feature actually. It actually contains the actual camera, which actually, if you do somehow manage to race in the racetrack, I think of like how it does it in the forms of those particular, well, let's just say a slot car relays or something like that back in the day. Except we're actually going to be playing a Mario Kart game in addition to on the actual in reality world, but also you can able to play it on either tabletop mode or handheld mode or even on TV mode, so that way you can able to see the entire cool display, which either way though, it does look pretty cool. However though, it's a bit expensive though, 100 quid. I understand that because of, you know, a lot more technology has been going for. And as far as I can gather, is the fact that the only races that you might only race against is of course the Bowser's minions. In this case, Bowser Jr. if I recall, as well as the Koopalings themselves as well. I'm not exactly sure why they managed the limitations. I have no idea why they got a lot of limitations of those character lists as far as I'm aware so far. And I'm pretty dang sure that it might not contain a game card or something, even though I haven't really researched on it still. But yeah, it's still Mario Kart, and also taking notice from you know, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fact that we got ourselves the returning double item slots, which allows you to able to carry 2 items. So either way though, that's all I can say about it here. And as far as release date is concerned, when it comes to Mario Kart Live home circuit, as far as I'm aware, it's about to during release until at some point also in next month, which appears to be by the forms of 16th of October. So yeah, that seems a little bit odd, and I think it was obviously on Friday, as far as I'm most likely guessing it correctly. So yeah, I think I'm sort of guessing it correctly. So anyway, so that's that. I probably won't able to actually pick it up, honestly, just because, well, it's pretty obvious is the fact that it might actually cost a lot of money. Plus, because of this though, I'm pretty sure I might as well be fine playing online races in during Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is honestly my preferred method of playing Mario Kart on the Switch. Although don't get me wrong, it's a pretty cool concept, but I don't know if I might as well get it because, well, at the moment right now, our room is a little bit too messy at this rate. And 2 is the fact that since we got enough villagers at the moment, and to top it all off is the fact that we're still waiting for our video game DIY cabinets that we're still waiting for to able to fill up the entire game systems at this rate. So believe it or not, it will take a long time to able to think about it. So, and also another thing they actually did reveal is that speaking of Super Mario All-Stars is that yes, the Super Mario All-Stars has recently came out on the Nintendo Switch Online membership service. So that seems really cool. Especially noticeable how the fact that you can now able to play that particular compilation on the go now. And also because of that, if you own the Wii version already, well, unless if you really want to play it online and even playing it on the go, then, well, obviously if you do have the Nintendo Switch version of Super Mario All-Stars, the Super Nintendo one as far as I like to talk about, you don't really necessarily need the Super Nintendo cartridge version, or especially noticeable with, you know, Nintendo Wii re-release version at the same time. So yeah, I just want to classify that. So, but aside from those side of things though, is the fact that, speaking of which, about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking also, is the fact that, relatively speaking, it's the fact that one of the YouTube commenters actually saying to me, or actually saying it to Piglet actually, recently he did say that, hey Piglet, you've got it wrong. The Legend of Zelda game you were talking about is The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, not Wind Awaken. So either way though, I think it's most notably because of how the fact the matter is though, is the fact that it has been a while since we actually did done a lot of commentary, or maybe it's because, well, it just feels a bit too weird to ask things like that. But either way though, enough about that. I suppose another thing that has been revealed, and that will be the special thing actually. And yes, according to other rumors, as far as I'm concerned, yes, we finally got ourselves the Super Mario 3D Collection, or it's what's known as Super Mario 3D All-Stars, which is kind of like a sequel to Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo. The only major difference between the two is that obviously Super Mario All-Stars contains the 2D side-scrolling Mario platformers ranging from Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, aka Super Mario USA in Japan, and of course Super Mario Bros. 3. And while it didn't able to include Super Mario World on the Wii version of Super Mario All-Stars, but I just want to classify that. But now we actually got ourselves not one, not two, but 3 Mario games is about to be released on the Super Mario 3D All-Stars, and those are, let's just say, 3 of these remastered already existed ports, or something like that, which there are Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and finally Super Mario Galaxy. I have no idea why that Nintendo has completely ignored Super Mario Galaxy 2 all of a sudden, because I wish that game, Super Mario Galaxy 2, will be on the list, but apparently we only get is just those 3, which that'll be my only disappointing thing about it. But apart from those side of things though, it's a really good collection selection. Like, obviously I can able to play, and I'm definitely really looking forward to able to replay those 3 games again. But this time around, let's start with the forms of Super Mario 64 first. As far as the only major difference between the original version of the game compared to the remastered version of that game, I've noticed the fact that the HUD system was actually a little bit more clear, and I think that's as far as I can say about it. But even then, a little bit disappointing, but still, regardless of such though, still an amazing game, especially because you can now able to actually finally play the original Super Mario 64 on the go, even though despite you've already technically did that on the DS remake. But either way though, it's almost like an entirely different game, mind you. And also, we got ourselves Super Mario Sunshine, even though what makes this a little bit weird is the fact that Super Mario 64 in a particular collection just doesn't seem to get the widescreen support, which is a little bit odd to say the least, even though it kind of does the same thing for, you know, if you ever played Sonic Adventure on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network and PC Steam, that normally you expect to think that you get yourselves a widescreen support in Sonic Adventure 1, but it turns out it wasn't, because I'm pretty sure we're going to the forms of that particular retro vibe to it. And then when Sonic Adventure 2 came around on, you know, Xbox Live, PlayStation Network, and PC, then that game does have widescreen support, even though there are some exceptions, like, the opening cinematic based off from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and also same applies to those FMV sequences, which is very understandable. Speaking of such though, is the fact that another game they actually got is of course Super Mario Sunshine, again with clear visuals, and, well, convenient enough, we actually got ourselves a widescreen, so about time actually. And as far as Super Mario Galaxy is concerned, well, basically, it's obviously the exact same thing as the original Wii version, which I appreciated, although the only major difference is the fact that with Nintendo Switch controls. So, and finally, when this video is about to be over and done with, even though I haven't explained about this game I'm playing through right now, just because, oh man, I'm so excited for this point, guys, I really am. But I'll get into more details about that particular, more worth noting for stuff until later. But for now, the Super Mario 3D All-Stars is about to come out, not long actually, it's about to come out until 14 days from now. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to able to getting it, even though, unfortunately, that was a limited run, so yeah, that's kind of stinks. So I guess we'll end things off here, I'm afraid, guys. So join me next time on Let's Play Klonoa Moonlight Museum. It's the fact that we are moving on into World 3. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.